Dear listeners, before we begin this episode, a quick announcement. The Indian Express has released a new history podcast called Pages from the Past. In its first season, hosts Adrija Roy Chaudhary and Damini Jaiman explore the stories of 5 princely states that were reluctant to join the Indian Union. You can listen to the first episode of this 5-episode season for free on indianexpress.com or download our app where all the episodes are available for free. You can find the links in the description. There will be a preview of the first episode at the end of today's show. Now, on with the show.
Hi, I'm Anwiti Singh and you're listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. In this episode, we talk about the multiple narratives surrounding the detention of Goldy Brar, who is the mastermind behind the murder of singer Sidhu Moosewala. We also talk about the delay in the development of a mosque in Ayodhya, which was suggested by the Supreme Court in 2019. But first, we talk about the border tension between Maharashtra and Karnataka. Since last Tuesday, the Belagavi region, which lies on the border between Maharashtra and Karnataka, has witnessed tension and clashes. The parliament also discussed this border dispute during its winter session. Most of these agitations were led by activist groups from both sides of the border. In this segment, Indian Express's Kiran Parashar joins us to talk about the recent clashes and the history of this border tension between these two states. So Kiran, can we first get into the history of this border dispute between Karnataka and Maharashtra?
So the border dispute of Karnataka and Maharashtra dates back to 1956, where the states were formed under a State Reorganization Act. At that time, a report was submitted to the center based on the lines of linguistics to form the states. So it is called a Mahajan Commission report. So then what happened was Maharashtra in 1960 claimed that 865 villages, including Belagavi, then it was called Belagavi, was part of Maharashtra. However, but to the demand of Maharashtra, and Karnataka said that it was part of Karnataka's territory. So this is when it all started, and down the line now, for all these years, the fight over this issue have remained the same. While Maharashtra claims that Belagavi and few other regions are their part, Karnataka has always fought against it. It has also gone to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has also had given a judgment that it will go by Mahajan Commission report, to which Maharashtra government had raised objection, and presently the court is being heard at Supreme Court.
And can you tell us why Belagavi has strategic importance in this region?
So, Belagavi is one of the 2-tier cities of Karnataka. It is also a district, and it also covers some of the areas of Western Ghats. It is also a gateway to Maharashtra and Goa. So, it is a strategically an important location and also a business hub. So, there have been clashes in the past as well. Anyhow, these clashes earlier, it used to be more represented by the pro-Kannada activists here, and on the other end, pro-Maharashtra activists. Later, it became a political issue as well when all the ministers and chief minister and the government started to speak about it. So also in Karnataka's context, Belagavi is also one of the crucial places, and it has also witnessed significant events like Gokak movement, where Karnataka went ahead asking for the linguistic status to Kannada language. So it is in fact a very strategic location as well.
Right, so Kiran, these disputes between pro-Karnataka and pro-Maharashtra activists, do they ever get violent?
In the past, it has got violent, but not to an extent that it has troubled either Karnataka or Maharashtra. There have been cases of assaults, there have been cases of rioting, and there have been cases of pelting stones at the buses of Maharashtra or vehicles of Maharashtra registration number in Karnataka, and vice versa. So whenever these kind of incidents happen, what they generally do is the government buses of Maharashtra or Karnataka, they stop the operations in order to prevent damages that could cause to these government buses or otherwise. And also the people of Belagavi region and the Maharashtra region also are kind of frustrated with often agitations, and once agitation is announced, soon after that you will see a lot of police force entering into all these areas, and it becomes very hard even to cross borders for people who are living at the borders. For them, it is also a big challenge. And there is a good amount of Marathi population in Belagavi as well. Till recently, there is a political committee which is pro-Maharashtra. It is called MES, Maharashtra Ekikaran Samiti. So those people used to even win many of the assembly seats from Belagavi. But after 2007, the numbers started to drop out as pro-Kannada organizations like Karnataka Rakshana Vedike and several other organizations started several movements. In one of that, 2005 incident is quite a remarkable incident in Karnataka's history.
Okay, and what happened in 2005 that it became an important part of the state's history?
So in 2005, Karnataka Rakshana Vedike, which had a little presence in Bangalore and few parts of Karnataka, hit national headlines when they smeared black paint on the face of the then Belagavi City Corporation Commissioner Vijay More after he passed a resolution that Belagavi should be included to Maharashtra. So this gained momentum for Karnataka Rakshana Vedike and it spread across the state. Now it has about 20,000 branches in Karnataka. So like there were a lot of pro-Kannada movements in 1960s, 70s, 80s as well. But there was a void to address the sentiments of Karnataka or Kannada. So that void was filled by Karnataka Rakshana Vedike by 2005. So with KRV backing, what happened later was that the next mayor and deputy mayors in the upcoming years, those were the people who were pro-Kannada and who wanted Belagavi should be part of Karnataka. So in the later years, the political force of MES also reduced day by day. So now if you see the kind of fights, the kind of disagreements that used to happen in Belagavi region over whether it should be part of Karnataka or Maharashtra, you don't see that anymore, like how it was 2 or 3 or 4 decades ago.
Okay, so Kiran, considering the long history of this border dispute, can you tell us if these clashes take place often?
So in Karnataka, every year at the month of December, a winter assembly session is held at Belagavi. So this winter session is held at Belagavi to send a message that Belagavi is part of Karnataka. Usually, whenever there is a session, this border dispute raises. If you ask like many of the politicians, the people who are in power usually take advantage of this situation, because this also diverts public attention from the issues that are supposed to be discussed during the session. But this year it is an exception because the Karnataka winter session is going to start from December 19th in Belagavi. But this year the issue came into light 1 month before because the Supreme Court was hearing the case as the Maharashtra government had filed the objection. So it started a bit early. This is always a going. Now we will have to wait for Supreme Court's decision on the same.
Right, so coming back to the present, could you talk about the reasons of the latest clash in this region?
So presently on Tuesday, a delegation from Maharashtra, including 2 cabinet ministers, were supposed to come to Belagavi. They had scheduled their visit to Belagavi in demanding that Belagavi should be part of Maharashtra. So in retaliation to that, Karnataka Rakshana Vedike across the state were supposed to reach in order to oppose their move. But by then, the ministers, they have postponed the event and they would come in the upcoming days. But by then, Karnataka Rakshana Vedike chief T. N. Narayanagowda and many of the activists had reached a toll plaza near Belagavi where they were prevented entering Belagavi. So a kind of commotion took place there where it led to stone pelting to many of the vehicles, and also they smeared black ink or black paint to the vehicles which carried Maharashtra registration number plates. Likewise, in Maharashtra, Karnataka government buses were also damaged, and also some of the Karnataka vehicles were also damaged by the pro-Maharashtra activists. For a brief time, the vehicles from Karnataka to Maharashtra were stopped. At the same time, from Maharashtra to Karnataka was also stopped. And Northwest KSRTC, we call it as, that is Karnataka's Road Transport Corporation, they also suspended operations and said that they would again start the operation based on the situation.
And Kiran, this week some reports suggested that a few leaders want the area to be named as a union territory. Can you tell us if this is a new demand or if this has been a demand for a long time now?
The demand for union territory is something that has started very recently. Because what happened was, when Maharashtra started demanding for Belagavi region, at the same time Karnataka Chief Minister Basuraj Bommai also said that some of the villages which are part of Maharashtra presently are showing interest to be part of Karnataka, as they don't get basic facilities from the Maharashtra government. So there was exchange of words between the leaders. Now Sanjay Raut, Shiv Sena chief, also have discussed with the NCP chief. He says that he has discussed with NCP chief Sharad Pawar to lead a delegation to Belagavi, and also now the NCP has proposed to make it as a union territory. But it can only be done by the Supreme Court orders, as it is pending before the court. So till then, even central government can't take any kind of decision. And in an hypothetical situation, if that is done, this place will witness a lot of unrest for sure.
All right, so what is the situation on ground right now? Is it returning to normalcy?
So the police have been deployed in all the border checkpoints of Karnataka, Maharashtra. About 1,000 police officials have been deployed since yesterday. So they thoroughly check vehicles which are traveling from Maharashtra to Karnataka and Karnataka to Maharashtra as well. They just want to ensure that these delegation or the activists are not crossing the borders, to ensure that there won't be any kind of untoward incidents. Other than that, the vehicle movement is as usual, but every vehicle is thoroughly checked in order to ensure that no untoward incident takes place either in Maharashtra or Karnataka. And at the same time, Maharashtra Chief Minister has also held talks with Karnataka Chief Minister Basuraj Bommai on Tuesday night. So they have come to an understanding that let the peace prevail and let's not disturb it. So they had conversations. They have come to an understanding now. So down the days, everybody is expecting that the situation dies down.
Next up, we talk about the notorious gangster Goldy Brar. Brar is implicated in the murder of Shubdeep Singh Sidhu, popularly known as Sidhu Moosewala, who was shot dead in Punjab's Mansa district in May this year. Just 3 days after Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann claimed that Brar has been detained in the United States and would soon be in the custody of the Punjab police, he appeared in an interview where he said he will quote-unquote never be caught alive. In an audio interview with a journalist named Ritesh Lakhi, Brar said that he was currently in Europe. He also said that if he were caught, he would quote-unquote shoot himself dead. Brar also spoke about the Aam Aadmi Party government's crackdown on crime and the recent spree of Unlawful Activities Prevention Act cases it has been registering. In this segment, the Indian Express's Navjeevan Gopal talks to us about Goldy Brar's alleged detention and subsequent interview. So Navjeevan, can you first talk to us about Goldy Brar?
Goldy Brar, his full name is Satinderjeet Singh. He goes by this alias Goldy Brar. He's basically a resident of Muktsar district in Punjab, and he's a close associate of gangster Lawrence Bishnoi. Recently, he was into this limelight due to murder of singer Sidhu Moosewala in May this year. He claimed responsibility for that, and also of late, he also owned up the killing of a Dera follower, Pardeep Singh, who was one of the sacrilege case accused. Apart from this, he faces several other cases and is alleged to be running an extortion racket in Punjab. He is currently believed to be in Canada. This is what Punjab police believed till these reports trickled in. and he had moved to Canada on a student visa in 2017. Punjab police are also not still clear whether he got permanent residence status there or not.
Right. So, Navjeevan, earlier this week, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann confirmed that Brar had been detained in the United States. But later in an interview, Brar allegedly denied that he had ever been captured. Could you talk to us about that?
On December 2nd, while addressing a press conference, Punjab CM Bhagwant Mann categorically said that Goldy Brar had been detained in US. And I will quote exactly what he said. He said, being the head of the state, I'll tell you that a big gangster sitting in Canada, Goldy Brar, has been detained in America. He also said that he would be brought to Punjab to face trial in the criminal cases he is facing. But after 3 days, there was an interview with a journalist, Ritesh Lakhi, who is based out of Canada right now, in which a person purportedly claiming to be Goldy Brar said that these reports are not correct and these are fake news. And he said that he had already moved to Europe and he was no longer in US, Canada or North America.
Okay, so during the interview, Brar also accused the police for being biased and appeared to draw a parallel between the murder of his cousin, Gulal Brar, and that of Sidhu Moosewala. So can you tell us what he said?
He said that, in fact, while talking about the Moosewala killing, he said that there is no justice for people in Punjab. He was angry sort of for not equal delivery of justice for every section of the society. He said that his cousin brother was shot dead, Gulal Brar, in 2020. But the investigators and the law enforcement agencies, they did not let the family present their side or take anyone witness in that case. On the contrary, he said in Sidhu Moosewala murder case, Moosewala's father was made an eyewitness.
Okay, Navjeevan, he also seems to have claimed credit for the murder of rival gangster Raju Tate in Rajasthan. Could you talk about that?
It's an old rivalry between the gangs, one led by Lawrence Bishnoi and other by slain gangster Devinder Bambiha. And plus there are other gangs also involved in this, and there are inter-gang rivalries. And this murder he attributed to the inter-gang, this rivalry, and said, how could he have killed Tate if he was in detention in US? Because the murder happened exactly a day after there were reports that he was detained in US.
And did he say anything about the circumstances that led to Moosewala's death?
During the interview with that YouTube channel, he suggested and said that Moosewala and his family member were connected to the rival gang members. And he also talked about some photo of one of the members, he said, who was a rival gang member and who was pictured with Moosewala's father after his death. So he said that Moosewala's family had already long ties with these gangsters.
Okay, so has Punjab government or police responded to the interview?
Not really. Punjab police is mum and they are not saying officially anything on this. But yes, Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson Malvinder Singh Khan, he did target Akali leader Bikram Singh Majithia when Majithia sought a proof that if Brar was detained, the Maan government should release some proof to that effect. But Khan did not say anything conclusive on detention, nor could he produce anything substantial on this alleged detention.
Right. So, do we know where Goldy Brar is now?
The officials tell me that they are still not clear about the whereabouts or the country Goldy Brar is currently residing in, even as he claimed that he has moved to Europe. So, till now, there is no official confirmation of any sorts.
And next, we talk about the development of a mosque in Ayodhya, 3 decades after the demolition of Babri Masjid. On November 9th, 2019, a 5-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court allotted the disputed Ayodhya land to a new trust to build the temple and allotted an alternative plot to build a mosque. But what happened in terms of development of the mosque in the last 3 years? In our last segment, Indian Express's Asad Rehman joins us to talk about the hurdles faced by the mosque board for the construction project. So Asad, let's begin with the 2019 Supreme Court judgment. Why had the court ordered these 5 acres of land for the Sunni Waqf board?
So in November 2019, when the Supreme Court finally decided the title suit, the Ayodhya title suit between the Hindu petitioners and the Muslim petitioners regarding the dispute of the land in Ayodhya, the top court had said that while granting the disputed land to the Hindu side, the court had said that an alternative plot of 5 acres should be given to the Muslim side where they can build mosque instead of the Babri Masjid, which was demolished in 1992 on December 6th, almost 30 years ago. So that piece of land, the Supreme Court had ordered that the 5 acres of land must be given to the Muslim petitioners and the parties in the case like the UP Sunni Central Waqf Board and other petitioners, and that the state government has to provide that land within the same district to the Sunni Waqf Board where a new mosque, an alternative mosque can be built.
Right. And can you tell us what happened after this judgment?
So the land was granted to the Muslim side, which is the Sunni Central Waqf Board, by the state government in a village called Dhannipur, which is a few kilometers from the main Ayodhya town where the title disputed land existed. So they were granted the possession of the land, and within a few months, the possession of the land was handed over to the Sunni Central Waqf Board. And the Sunni Central Waqf Board then announced the formation of the Indo-Islamic Cultural Foundation, which it had then said that will oversee the building of the mosque, and other amenities along with the mosque will be built at this 5-acre plot in Dhannipur village of Ayodhya district.
So Asad, did the board start any construction on the land?
So the IICF, which is Indo-Islamic Cultural Foundation, took possession of the land, and in May last year it had submitted maps of the proposed building or the planned building at the site, and those maps are still pending with the Ayodhya Development Authority and the state government. So there are some technicalities why the approvals are still pending. The IICF secretary, Mr. Athar Hussain, on Wednesday told me that the approvals are still pending as the nature of the land has to change. So this piece of 5-acre land that was given to the Sunni Waqf Board for the construction of the alternative mosque was agricultural land. So that the nature of the land in papers and in paperwork has to change from agricultural land to institutional land. So one of the approvals that are still pending is that of the change in nature of the land. Then the second approval that is still pending is the fire safety approval. Fire safety certificate, which is given before any such building is constructed in any place. So that is also still pending, and the IICF says that the access point or the way to the plot is too narrow for them to get a fire safety certificate from the authorities. So that is being worked on by the Ayodhya District Administration and other concerned authorities. They're working on it, and the IICF says that the fire safety issue will be resolved very soon and that it will be granted very soon. So these are the approvals that are still pending, and that is why construction work has not yet begun on the 5 acres of land in Dhannipur of Ayodhya district.
All right, so apart from building the mosque, can you tell us what are some of the other plans of the IICF?
So the IICF, which is building the mosque there, has planned to build a hospital, a community kitchen, a library, and a mosque there. So the plan, as per the plan of the IICF, a charitable hospital will be built on that piece of land where people can get treatment for free and can be treated for any kind of ailments over there. A super specialty hospital will be built on the land. Then they also plan to build a library over there for the local community and the people over there. And they also plan to build a community kitchen for people who are in need of food can come and get food served over there. So these are some of the plans of the IICF, whereas nothing has still started. I mean, the construction hasn't started on the site, and the planning has been done while the work is yet to begin.
And Asad, all these constructions, they would be quite expensive, right? So can you tell us where the board is collecting this money from?
So the IICF had started a donation program a couple of years ago, and the donation program is ongoing, but the amount of money that has so far been collected is not a lot. It's as per Mr. Athar Hussain, who's looking after the collection of funds. The amount of money that has so far been collected is rupees 50 lakh, which is not a lot. And the donation drive is being done. People are moving from district to district and are appealing to people for funds. And they are collecting them. But the pace at which such a big project requires funds is lacking.
Dear listeners, before we end today's show, here is a quick snippet from our history podcast, Pages from the Past. First episode, The Reluctant Princess, Travancore, the one with the assassination attempt.
So we know a little bit more about the background of Travancore, but who was the last ruler when this period of accession was taking place?
So the last ruler was Chithira Thirunal Balaram Verma. Today in Kerala, he's given this demigod sort of a status. So Manu Pillai, he explains how in, this sort of romanticization about the last ruler of Travancore, it's essentially a post-independence phenomenon. And during his time, he was more interested in the spiritual side of kingship. He was more interested in the temples and the religious aspect of kingship. So the real administrative side was being taken care of by his mother and the Prime Minister, the Diwan Sir C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer.
Chithira Thirunal Balarama Varma was an interesting man. There's an entire set of people who, especially post-independence, and this is, again, the interesting way in which royal memories get more and more romanticized over time. In his own time, he wasn't worshipped so much. He was seen very much as a talented ruler, but not some kind of superhero. But post-independence, a certain nostalgia settled around his name, with the result that if you go today to Trivandrum, there's an entire section of royalists who will go so far as to say that he was Pratyaksha Padmanabha, that he was Padmanabha Swami incarnated in human form, and that he was some kind of a god on earth. There are others who call him a Raja Rishi, this kind of ruler who's really a ruler saint rather than some kind of typical political figure.
You were listening to a preview from our new history podcast, Pages from the Past. You can listen to this entire episode for free at the links in the description.
You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's episode was hosted by me, Anwiti Singh, and written and produced by me with the help of Rahel Philipose and Utsa Sarmin. It was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar with the help of Abhishek Kumar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone who you think will like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcast and write to us at podcast@indianexpress.com.